How are we doing, guys? We are back with a match preview for the start of the 2021-2022 season. It's been a long wait. It's been a long pre-season, international football, pre-season friendlies, etc. But we are finally back with the proper football. And in the words of Gareth Keenan from The Office, it is a quiet night at the library coming up this weekend. It is only Man United away after all. To start the season off, wow, by the way. Wow, I mean, obviously when we saw the fixtures come out, we knew it was coming, but it's really started to hit home. We're actually playing Man United away on the first game of the season. Absolute madness. You know, I've been used to going to Tranmere away, Scunthorpe away back in the day, Exeter at home, games like that. No more. We're playing a proper game of football. In the Premier League, because we're back in the Premier League, if you didn't know. It's just been a very strange last 18 months or so, but it feels proper now. It does feel like we're properly back in the league, fans back in the grounds. It's going to be a proper atmosphere on Saturday. So back with a match preview as always. So let's just have a little look at my notes here. A couple of things to look at. There's not many tougher challenges than this to start the season off with. I think last season, Liverpool away probably was the toughest one you could possibly get. This is probably second or third after probably City. It's a tough game. We know it's a tough game. Look, as much as we like to have a go at them, etc, and look, I love to have a go at them. They are a good football team. I'm not going to deny it. They are a good team. They finished second last season. I think they finished third the season before that. Look, they're still miles off what they were, which is absolutely fantastic to see. But they are still a good team. This is going to be a very, very difficult game of football. In terms of news, team news to start off with, nothing really concrete as of yet in terms of team news. No real definite injuries, definite availabilities, but it does sound like possibly Junior Firpo isn't available. Again, that's just a little rumour at this moment in time. It's a possibility. It feels like it's a 50-50 on Junior Firpo. Obviously, he's missed quite a bit of pre-season. The last 2 or 3 friendlies he's missed, being unavailable because of injury. Or we didn't really want to risk him. I'm not sure exactly which of the two it was, but that maybe presents the fact that Junior Firpo might not be fully match fit. Either way, Junior Firpo is probably the only player out of the squad, other than obviously Diego Llorente, who we already know about, who isn't available. That's at this moment in time. This is Wednesday morning I'm filming this. It could well change. But yeah, with that in mind, obviously Junior Firpo possibly not being available, I've got a funny feeling that Stuart Dallas will go to left back. I think he might move from midfield and go to left back, like he has in the last couple of pre-season games. It always does tend to be the same kind of theme with Bielsa, that whatever kind of team he goes with towards the end of pre-season, into those last 2 or 3 games, obviously Betis, Ajax, Villarreal, does tend to be the team that he starts with. So that probably would mean Dallas goes to left back if Firpo isn't available, or even if Firpo's available, Dallas might go to left back. But either way, I do think Stuart Dallas starts at full back in this game. And ultimately, I think Rodrigo will start in midfield. He's played every single pre-season friendly he's been available in midfield. So I do think that's going to be the case. I'm not necessarily a fan of that. In fact, you will all know I'm not a fan of Rodrigo in midfield. I love Rodrigo as a player. I think he's a fantastic player. I just don't quite think he looks right at this moment in time in midfield. Again, I'm not going to say he's definitely not a midfielder. I just think he needs a little bit more time to develop into the role. A higher pass count, playing more passes, getting a bit more involved in the build-up play. I think in terms of an offensive weapon from midfield, I think he's a fantastic option. I think he'll still get goals in that position. Just think sometimes defensively and actually getting on the ball and dictating play isn't really what Rodrigo's doing in this team. Yes, you could argue he's more of a number 10, but he still needs to get a bit more involved in that for me. Otherwise, we do tend to get a little bit overrun in midfield. I think you saw in that Ajax game, that little bit of technical quality, we struggled to keep the ball in that game. And again, in this Man United game, like it or not, we are going to face technical quality in midfield. Your likes of Paul Pogba, your Bruno Fernandes's, your Van der Beeks, etc. Whoever it is, there's going to be technical quality in that Man United midfield. So we've got to accept that. But that's just what I think it will be from us. In terms of, I think the rest of the team pretty much picks itself. 4-1-4-1. We know what the front three will be: Bamford, Rafinha, Harrison either side of him. Obviously, probably Click and Rodrigo in midfield, I would have thought. KP holding midfield, assuming KP comes straight back in, but I think he will, to be honest. Right back, Luke Ayling. Centre back, Robin Koch. Then a slight debate about who goes alongside him. It probably will be Liam Cooper, I would have thought, for the experience at Old Trafford, but it might well be Pascal Struijk. Left back will be Stuart Dallas, and in goal, Ilan Meslier. I would have thought. That's just a pure guess, by the way. And it wasn't quite a formality that said it was, because I said the centre-backs was a debatable point. But anyway, I'll move on. I start to ramble already in this video. Man United then, 4-2-3-1. Pretty much every single game they play, they set up in a 4-2-3-1 system. They do rotate quite a lot, but just looking at most of their pre-season games in terms of the lineups they've gone with, it does look like it'll be a Donny van der Beek and Nemanja Matic midfield pivot behind Bruno Fernandes in this game. Now, one thing that really stands out straight away with that midfield too is that Donny van der Beek is a number 10. He hasn't really got much experience playing deeper. Again, I've not seen any of Man United's pre-season games, but I don't think that's Donny van der Beek's best position. Nemanja Matic, obviously, I think he's still a good footballer, there's no doubt about that. He's still got fantastic technical quality, but in terms of energy, in terms of being able to, cover space, cover ground, I'm not sure Nemanja Matic. And I think that's a positive for us in that sense. I don't mind facing that midfield pivot. And it's surprising, I don't think they've used Scott McTominay a lot in pre-season. Whether he's injured or not, I don't know. But he's not played a lot in pre-season, so that is a surprising one. Obviously, Scott McTominay did cause all the damage early on in that game last season at Old Trafford, which we can never forget. And that's the thing, as long as we start better than what we did last time, when we're 2 goals down after 3 minutes, I think we can do that. We can do that, can't we, guys? Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. Let's be positive. Come on, we can do that. There's no doubt about that. But you just have to look at our records in the second half of the season against these teams. We picked up some fantastic results. Obviously, that win away at Leicester. Who can never forget that win away at the Etihad with 10 men? Drawing against Liverpool and Man United at home. And obviously beating Tottenham at home as well. We've definitely improved in these kind of games. I think first half of the season, we were conceding goals for fun in these kind of games. Obviously 4 goals at Anfield, 6 at Old Trafford last season, 3 at Stamford Bridge, 3 at White Hart Lane. We couldn't keep clean sheets in these kind of games, really. And obviously 4 conceded at home to Leicester as well. So we've definitely improved in that regard. Look, as I've already said, they're obviously a good team. They're obviously a team, for me, who are probably... I think there's a chance they're going to push for a title. I think Varane and Sancho, if I'm being totally honest, are fantastic additions. I've got to be honest on this. They are fantastic additions, and they definitely make them stronger as a team, compared to last season. Whether they do push for the title, totally different question. But I think certainly in terms of the quality they've got, I think probably the expectation will be they'll push for a title. In terms of their pre-season, obviously we all know about our pre-season. It's caused a lot of debate on Twitter. Some panic on Twitter as well, or a lot of panic on Twitter and social media, etc. But it is just what it is, pre-season. But I'm going to talk about Man United's pre-season results anyway. So they beat Derby away 2-1, lost 4-2 away at QPR, drew 2-2 at home to Brentford, and the most recent friendly, they won 4-0 against Everton. So obviously going forward, we know they're a team that scores goals. Bruno Fernandes, Mason Greenwood, Paul Pogba, Martial, Cavani, etc. Although Cavani might not be available for this game, which I think is a boost for us. Obviously Jadon Sancho as well, who will probably start on the bench as well for this game, and Dan James will probably start instead. Either way, there's a lot of firepower in this Man United team. We've got to be aware of that. But we've got a lot of firepower as well at the end of the day, certainly compared to most teams in mid-table. In terms of Rafinha, Bamford, Harrison, not many teams outside that top 6 can beat that for me in terms of end products and goal return. Obviously pre-season for us wasn't brilliant result-wise. It wasn't brilliant at all. But let's be honest, at the end of the day, it means little, doesn't it? I think every season was not a particularly good pre-seasons. Last season we got beat 3-0 away at Stoke. I think a season before that, we lost 4-0 to Man United in the pre-season friendly as well. We've not had particularly good pre-seasons under Bielsa, but we have constantly, for the last 3 seasons, the first 3 seasons under Bielsa, started the season well. Started the season on fire. Scored 3 goals, at least 3 goals. Well, no, we have scored 3 goals, in the opening fixture of the first 3 seasons under Bielsa. It'd be fantastic to do that again. Maybe a little bit unrealistic on this occasion. Who knows? I hope I'm wrong. On that, by the way. But we have to keep our heads in this game. That's the key thing. We've got to keep our heads in this game. Absolutely crucial, because There's going to be fans in the grounds. It's all well and good me talking about our much improved record against this Big Six. It's a different kind of feel to the game in terms of having fans in the ground. We all know how much of a difference it makes on games, especially for the home teams. I think last season you saw a lot of away wins. You saw almost as many away wins as you saw home wins. I think that's obviously going to probably revert back to what we'd normally expect, revert back to the mean, really, in terms of you will see more home wins than away wins. There will be a clear home advantage, and that's clear as day with this Man United team. They're a very streetwise team. Bruno Fernandes, you've always got to start Bruno Fernandes. You can't give cheap fouls away against this team. You've got quality delivery, you've got the height of Maguire, Varane on set pieces. They win a lot of penalties. We all know how many penalties they win at Old Trafford. Again, I'm trying to be not too bad about I'm saying this, try and be a little bit less biased than usual, but they do get a lot of penalties. They do get a lot of penalties, there's no denying that. The stats show that. So we've got to just keep our heads in this game. I think it's with moments of the game where maybe emotion kicks in, you're looking at maybe the two fullbacks, Ayling, Dallas or Firpo, that maybe they don't push as high up in this game. Maybe Rodrigo, Click, a little bit more discipline when they push forward. We saw that midfield of Rodrigo and Click maybe lose that little bit of discipline in the 6-2 game. Well, it definitely lost that little bit of discipline. Sometimes you saw Ayling pushing forward and then Rashford was finding that space in behind. I know Rashford doesn't play this game, but if it's Dan James, if it's Jadon Sancho, just maybe keep the fullbacks back a little bit. I'm not saying go defensive, I'm just saying maybe certain aspects of our play, it can play into Man United's hands. We know they're very good on transitions, they counter-attack very, very well. And if you give them chances, they will score goals. They've got very clinical forwards in that team. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, we've got to keep our heads. We've got to keep our heads in this game. In terms of our squad, going into the season, let's not forget there's still a long, long way to go on this transfer window. I just wanted to mention it a little bit before I came off on this preview. Yes, I thought we'd have more signings through the door by now. I'm not going to lie, I thought we'd have more signings through the door by now. But I'm not going into panic mode. I'm not going into panic mode yet. We've still got a long, long way to go in this transfer window. I think it's another 3 weeks yet. That's a long, long time in transfer terms, especially when you consider how quickly we got the Junior Firpo deal done in that kind of sense. So, yeah, there's a long, long way to go. Yes, I think obviously as last season finished, I did think we'd have more signings in. I'm not, as I've already said, I'm not going to lie about that. I did think we'd have done more by now. And maybe I go into the season with a little bit less, not so much less enthusiasm, definitely not. I can't wait for this season. It feels like the first season back in the Premier League, as I've already said. Last season, yeah, we finished 9th. It was a fantastic season on the pitch, but really as a spectacle, it just kind of went, didn't it? Let's be honest. We weren't at the games. There was no kind of, we just weren't at the games. It wasn't the same kind of thing in that kind of sense. But so yeah, maybe in terms of confidence, maybe it's not quite the same. I did think maybe we did have a midfielder, backup winger in there, and I just think it's those two signings I think that we maybe need. But in terms of right now, we've got what looks like pretty much a fully fit squad. Certainly midfield, we've got all our options available. I'm not too concerned by it. Look, we're talking about the midfields. Are we forgetting that last season, our player of the season was Stuart Dallas for his performances in midfield? I agree, maybe we do need another option there, but it's about getting that right option, and it's about getting that option that Bielsa wants. I'd rather wait to deadline day if it gets the right midfielder, the right type of midfielder that Bielsa wants. I don't know if it's a defensive-minded midfielder, if it's a box-to-box midfielder, if it's a traditional number 8, or if it's a number 10. Who knows? But it's all about getting that right option. If it's a Pablo replacement even, it's all about getting that right option above everything. We can't forget that on deadline day in the last window, we got Rafinha through the door, which was massive for our season in terms of pushing into the top half, and at times looking like we could have even pushed into Europe. Rafinha was massive to all of that. We know how good Rafinha is. I'm just saying that that's proof that let's not panic too much about that. But let us know in the comments down below your thoughts on that. Again, I'll say it for a third time, I did think we might have more signings through the door by now, but I'm not going into panic mode too much. As long as we get the right options, that's all that matters for me. I just think it's 2 that we need. And yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident in Click Dallas. That can be a good midfield too. Even if we don't get that first choice signing through the door. But in terms of this game, just go back onto this game. Key battles: Rafinha versus Shaw, KP versus Bruno Fernandes. I think obviously in the last game we played against him at Ellen Road, KP did a fantastic job on Bruno Fernandes, and it was the complete opposite at Old Trafford. Fernandes got the better of KP that day. In terms of Rafinha and Shaw, again, I think that's a key battle for us going forward. If Rafinha wins that battle, because he's our key player going forward, you know, he has to win that battle against a top quality left back in Luke Shaw, possibly one of the best in the world, you know, based on his Euro performances and performances last season. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the game, guys. And make sure you check out CK's preview as well. Chris Kelly has done a preview for the game. Make sure you check that out if you haven't done already. Smash that like button and subscribe button as well. And I'm also going to do a different kind of video this season for previews. I'm going to do a preferred 11 video where I go through the team I would go with for this game. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to get that uploaded. Probably some point in the next 24 hours. And just let us know if you want me to do a quick video on pre-season expectations for this season. Pre-season expectations. Do you guys want a quick video in terms of where I'm going to talk a little bit about that? Because I've seen lots of different takes on this season in terms of we've got to push on from 9th. It's a disaster if we don't finish above 9th. As long as we avoid relegation. Lots of different ends of the scale. And I just thought I'd do a quick little video on that, but only if you guys want me to. Let us know on that if you want that to come up, and I can upload that in the next couple of days. No problem at all. And don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, guys, your thoughts on this game, and check out CK's video as well and all our content from this week. And I'll be doing an opposition preview with Usman Talks Man United, which will be live tomorrow, being Thursday at 6 PM. I'm going to leave it there, guys. I've been Oscar Marriott. See you later. Come on, Leeds.